Hello everyone, this is Angus here just to give you some trigger warnings about this episode. Please be aware that there are some content that may disturb some listeners, such as discussions about violence, death, and spooky themes.
Hello and welcome to the latest podcast of Talk of the Town, Stirling. I'm Janet.
I'm Patrick.
I'm Susie.
I'm Peter.
And I'm Angus.
Today we're going to be talking about the multiple festivals that we can celebrate. Let's have a little talk about say Diwali, and now you can say this very well, the Dia de las Muertas.
Yeah, the Dia de los Muertos.
Thank you for correcting me.
All good.
The Day of the Dead. It's been harvest time, Halloween. What's the Scottish word for Halloween?
It's pronounced Samhain.
Samhain, that's it. It's a Gaelic word, isn't it?
It's the festival of harvest. It's like harvest end, summer's end, Samhain. And that's contrast with the festivals that are at other times of the year. It's all to do with harvests because let's imagine that you're a Gael or a Pict 1,000 years ago. There's nothing else going on other than farming. So we punctuated the year with harvest begin, harvest end. Let's have a party at each time.
This makes sense.
Break things up a bit.
Where are we going from there?
That's a good point. Yeah, I'm reading the notes and I have no
I
idea.
don't really know how to add to this.
No.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to a very specific niche festival.
Yeah, Diwali I know is the Festival of Light. The Day of the Dead, honouring people that have passed. So it's like a day just to remember them. And then we've got Stirling Pride, which we need to bring in.
We need to plug that.
I've been to that.
Did you go? Oh, so you can talk about that part.
It was my first time going to a march really ever, to be honest. And everyone there was very friendly and kind. I just love how clean it was. There was no one making a tip everywhere, which is a nice comparison compared to another march that happened in London not that long ago. So.
And what I like about Stirling Pride, as opposed to the other Pride festivals throughout the country, is that it takes place in September instead of, when is normal Pride month? It's June or July?
Well,
June?
in Brighton it's June.
I
Yeah.
think internationally it's June.
Yeah.
But here in Stirling it's in September because that's when the students come back. So it
that
allows
makes
them
sense.
to participate.
Yeah, that
Which
makes
is
sense.
really
More inclusive.
Yeah, inclusive. That's the word I was going to say.
So the church that I go to, Stirling Methodist Church, they were at Pride, Stirling Pride, and they had their flag for Pride. I think it said Christians for Pride or something like that.
I saw that at the
Did you
march.
see it?
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
I also the day after the church up the road, Holyrood.
Holy Road, yeah.
Yeah, they had like LGBT thing which I went to as well. Like, I'm not really a religious person, but I greatly respect it though.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Sometimes it's not. It's just saying, doesn't matter what group
Exactly.
you're with.
That's what
we're all saying equality.
Doesn't matter if you're LGBT, straight, religious or not. Everyone's welcome, which is very refreshing to
Yeah,
see.
I did really want to go. I couldn't. I had too much gardening that I needed to do. But I did have my rainbow T-shirt on. There in spirit.
Most of my time I stand underneath a banner called Angus Pride, which was great. It was like it's got my name written all over it, literally.
Like a big arrow pointing towards you.
Yeah, that was great. But what was very strange about that moment, the people from Angus Pride, apparently a few people I recognised from high school, were from high school, which was strange. It's like, so they live in Angus now, used to live in, Stirling area, I'm not going to say where, but now they're back here. And I think they were a year above me. It's like I recognised one of them, but the other I didn't because one transitioned, and which went well, by the way. But that was a nice wee moment of seeing old faces.
Yeah, it's nice to keep in contact. I wonder how they used to keep in contact when it was harvest time. Now we have phones. How did they keep in contact then?
Well, they didn't. I don't know if we want to get into the history of things, but largely for most of human history, people just didn't keep in contact with people that were further away than a day's walk, just because it wasn't worth it. And also, you could get eaten by a wolf at any moment. Ow! It's Halloween!
I'll add spooky sound effects.
Thank you. You can keep mine. Other than Stirling Pride, are there any festivals or autumn traditions that we all celebrate? And I'm going to leave this open for anyone to answer whenever they're ready.
We like to do little stories. So at home, we will just sort of, find something online and just sit in front of the fire and, tell mild spooky stories, because I do get quite scared. So we do that.
So my parents are Chinese, so obviously in their generation they didn't really celebrate it. So when I was young, I didn't really go out guising or anything like that. They were always working. It would have been when I was around late 20s, early 30s that I started to celebrate Halloween. I would meet up with friends, we would dress up, do like mystery nights, have dinner, that lasted for a couple of years, maybe 3. Now I've got a son, so I try to celebrate with him as much as I can, like dress him up. He would have parties like discos at school.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah.
They should do more for adults.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I think the school, they have a parent council. Parents do like dress up and that as well as the kids. So they join in as well with the fun.
Are you going to wear your gorgeous Monster Eye thing that you're wearing?
I didn't dress up last year because it was just like the first school party for my son. But he dressed up, so I'll try to do this tradition maybe every year, because I like him to know about it for him when he grows up, because I didn't get to do it.
Yeah, it's fun.
So, yeah.
That's really good.
Halloween is one of those things I wish I could have done a bit more when I was younger. As someone who's very nervous, it was just difficult just to wear a costume and just go out and do whatever it is. So, I really loved the vibe of Halloween, but the actual, I think it just needed better social skills at the time. Like, the best costume I ever had when I dressed up as Zero when I was 3 years old. Nightmares Before Christmas, so...
Oh, the dog.
You're going to have to explain that. I don't know that one.
Ghost dog.
With a red nose. Pumpkin nose, sorry.
I'm going to have a little look at that.
I'll show you after. It's
a good film.
That sounds fun, though.
Now that I'm at the campus, hopefully there's some Halloween activities I can do.
Like you, Susie, I didn't celebrate Halloween as a child. It just didn't, in our house, it wasn't right for people to come knocking at the doors and we give them stuff, Mum had sort of like 3 jobs. So, she wasn't going to give stuff to strangers. She might have told them to do one, if I'm allowed to say that. But now as an adult, I love dressing up. Any excuse to put on a wee mask, my elf ears, and just sit and do some painting. And we shouldn't stop growing in. Well, no, we shouldn't just grow up because we're grown up.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
For the past few years, my son's 6 now, so I've bought pumpkins and we've carved it together. We would do a little display. We've got a table on the corner of the living room, so we would put Halloween display up with lights and stuff like that.
Oh, that's nice.
Just to have a wee celebration.
So I wonder what the meaning is behind the dressing up. Does anyone know? I know the Dia de Muertos. I've said it wrong again.
Don't do it. You'll make me correct you.
Correct
I'll
me,
compulsively
correct me.
do it. Before we talk about that, we'll circle back. Patrick, you've not said a word.
When I was a child, we dressed up and we went around trick-or-treating around the neighbourhood, we and my sisters and neighbours. I would also have bonfires, fireworks, sometimes making your own fireworks. Well, fun, and you'd come back and you'd have collections of peanuts and monkey nuts and apples and chocolates, and then you'd play games back at home and eat Irish tradition which is called Baron Brack, which is like a fruit cake, and it had a small little item inside, generally a ring, and if you manage not to chip your tooth on the ring, then potentially you're going to get married the next year. Never really happened because I was a 12-year-old kid, so I wasn't going to get married. Watch maybe a scary movie. I remember watching Salem's Lot, the original Salem's Lot, not the remake.
That's scary.
It was me and my sister watching it, and then my parents were out, and as soon as they got home, they opened all the windows into a garden with fields behind it, and I was like, shut the windows!
I guess since you mentioned films, maybe since it's Halloween, maybe everyone could just maybe mention what their favourite spooky film is, if they have one.
Well, my favourite scary film is a black and white film from 1960 called Carnival of Souls, and it's a really creepy horrible film. Patrick's trying to scare me in the studio. It's a creepy film because they incorrectly filed the trademark paperwork. It's public domain and you can watch it on YouTube. It's
Nice.
like they did the same thing that the Night of the Living Dead original one did, where they forgot to put something in the film, and well, now you can watch it for free, and it's really, really good.
We'll
Very
give that a go.
definitely recommend it over the Halloween period. It's scary and shot in a remarkably modern way for a film that was released, around the same time as Psycho, for example.
The 80s Blob films have really grown on me even more now, to be honest.
The Blob.
Yeah, the 80s one, not the 50s one. Peter doesn't approve.
It's a fine film. I just think it's too gross.
That's kind of what I like about. I generally don't really like bloody films in the most part, where it's trying to be shocking. But I kind of like how it's like the way how the Blob gets people. It actually makes sense. So it's got that kind of like, don't go too close to a sink, or or the air conditioning, or whatever, or oh no, the Blob's in this boy's girlfriend now. It just gets him and just bursts out his face or whatever. It's perfect. I watched the 80s one and then I watched the 50s one, the original one, and many things to appreciate about it, but when I was watching the 50s, it's like, I'm not going to get any fun death scenes where one of those, like, everything happens off screen, and as much as I appreciate, like, the 50s one, I just don't really like it. It has that annoying trope of the cops don't believe the people who saw the monster until near the end of the film. But yeah,
I think I need to revisit it.
that's my favourite one. That and probably the Thing.
The original 50s one?
No,
The John Carpenter one from 1982?
the 80s one. The original Thing, I think, was funny in a bad way.
No, I love that film. I like both.
I guess they work in different good ways. To me, it kind of falls into the Star Wars Christmas special bad category, kind of.
Oh, that bad. Jeez, oh.
Which is also my favourite Star Wars film.
Guardians of the Galaxy, that's a bad Christmas one. But maybe we should save that for the Christmas podcast.
Yeah, don't give away all the future details of the Christmas episode of the podcast. Anything could happen. Anyone else have a favourite scary film?
Probably Salem's Lot, which I mentioned, and also The Fog.
Masterpiece.
Movies that suddenly, when you're doing things that you do in everyday life and it starts to affect you, like you mentioned, Angus, that's, they've really made a success when they've done that.
It left an impact.
I can't actually think of any films. The psychological ones really scare me, like really, really. And I won't watch it if it's dark. It has to be Sunday morning when the windows all open. And while everyone's been talking, I do remember that I used to watch, and I can't think what it's called, Scrappy Doo. The cartoon.
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo, that's it. Scooby-Doo. It was always like Halloween. Like, it was always walking around graveyards. And as a kid, that used to scare me.
I guess that counts as a horror film too.
We love Scooby-Doo here on this podcast.
Yes,
I've been
we
vocal
do.
about it for a long time.
We do.
Does anyone here actually like Scrappy Doo? I don't.
I like him. I like him. I like him because he is the
He's
worst
supposed to
character
be
in the
annoying,
TV
yeah.
show. That's good writing.
Is it?
Well, he's supposed to be annoying, so
Is that quite easy for anyone to write a character like? Because even when I made Daft little animations, I made characters that were deliberately annoying, and they were very easy to write.
sounds like you had puppy power.
One of the things that you said, Patrick, about the Duncan for apples, was it?
Oh, yeah, I alluded to we play games. So, yeah, dunking for apples and tying an apple on a string and then trying to take a bite out of it. I'm sure there were other games, but I can't quite remember them right now. Any of you guys play any games like that?
I definitely remember playing those two. There were a surprising amount of Apple-related games you could have a go with. The string one was so annoying.
Did you ever get like fake spiders and put them somewhere to try and scare other people?
What I had was a fake spider that was connected to a little tube that would then lead to a hand pump, and then when you squeezed the pump, the spider would jump, and you would like hide the cable, and you would like put the spider on the floor. You would put the cable up through your trousers, and then you would squeeze it, and it would go like jump at people from your shoe, and I was quickly confiscated.
That would be my nightmare.
I think this would be the appropriate time to do this because this has been somewhat of a running theme, but in the show, but I think now we can do it. Like, do either ghosts have any favourite films or Halloween event or whatever?
The scariest movie, and it's not supposed to be scary, is when I was a kid, I watched Great Expectations and the black and white movie. And there's the bit where the old lady sort of burns in her house, and that scary dining room with all the cobwebs and the cake that was never eaten. And that terrified me for years. It's one of my absolute favourite movies, but that particular scene in the movie always, it's like, oh, that's so scary.
Haversham.
Miss
wasn't it?
Havisham.
Yes.
Miss Havisham.
Miss
Yeah, Miss
Havisham.
Havisham.
Yeah, 'cause
Never misses.
She's still in her wedding dress, wasn't she?
Yeah, because her husband-to-be jilted her at the altar, and it ruined her life.
I'm trying to think of a thing that I saw that recently that made me feel quite unsettled. This was years ago, but it's one of those. It's unsettling because someone made it. It's called My Little Dashie. It's a Bernie fan
Cut
film.
the tape! Cut the tape!
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, shout out to My Little Dashie.
Is it something like a pony?
It is a pony, but it's
It is a pony. Okay.
It's
Dog
one of
attachment.
those fanfics films where someone's made that. It's like technically it's pretty impressive, but the film itself is. Well, I'll leave everyone else. If you ever watch it, you can figure it out. That's definitely unsettling in a way. Anyway,
Anywho,
People used to put spiders in flour as well, didn't they? And, like, put people's heads in flour as well. Was
what are
this
you
part?
on about, Janet? I'm starting to think that you were abused as a child.
That's a totally different podcast. Isn't it to do with sort of like, you know, the guys in, so the trick or treat, it would be a trick if they didn't get a treat? Wouldn't it be something like that? That the spiders would jump out, their head would be put in flour and...
I think I know what you mean. Yeah, that sounds...
I could be wrong, but I've always thought trick or treat meant like give us treats or kick your bins over or something.
Yeah, I think the trick is very broad. Some people don't even dress up and they go trick or treat, and it's like, well, what are you going to do? You know, do a joke or
Yeah.
I never liked trick or treat because that's not what we called it. Like, you would watch these American films and they go, oh, we're going trick or treating, and I'm like, you're going guysing,
guys in.
you're lying to me. But then people over here started saying it, and I'm like, but you're not trick or treating, you're going guysing. And then I realised that I was an old man.
We heard from our resident ghost, and I'm wondering with Samhain, because in Ireland, Samhain was also a time when the afterlife, the veil between the afterlife and this world would become thinner, and the spirits would enter the world for a period of time. So people would light fires to protect themselves and leave out food for these hungry ghosts. I'm not sure how hungry a ghost would be, but maybe they had ghost chips or something. What do you guys know in terms of the foods and the ghosts, you know, in terms of, I know in Orkney they've got a special creature over there as well.
I can never remember its name. It's annoying because it's one of those monsters I drew for my game. and I
Yes,
can't
you
remember its name.
mentioned it.
It's the knuckle levy.
I love kind of spooky monsters like that, where it's just like, oh, from a distance, this looks like a person riding a horse, but then you get up close to it, it's just like, this person doesn't have legs. It's attached into the horse.
It's like an evil sea creature. In Scotland, you have either evil creatures from the sea or evil horses, and the knuckleavy is an evil horse that comes from the sea.
Right.
And it's, from a distance, like you said, it has the silhouette of a horse and rider, but as you approach, you realise that neither of them have any skin. They're one being. From the horse's mouth, that foul mist and fog from the sea will billow out and poison the land around it. It's so cool.
Could the Knuckleavy be related to the Kelpies then?
Probably. I mean, I don't know why we're so afraid of horses as a nation.
I love horses.
I mean, being afraid of things like kelpies will... See, a kelpie is something that looks like a horse until it returns to the loch that it came from. And if you touch it, you can't let go, which is how they get you. It'll come up to you like a normal horse. You'll touch it because it wants attention. You can't let go. It drags you under the loch. It turns into its monstrous form and rips you into little pieces.
That's me awake for the next week.
But that makes sense because it's like monsters like this are like the kind of cultural storytelling as a way of like wrapping your kids' knuckles and saying, now don't go playing around the loch because the kelpies will get you, and that's how you protect them from like accidental drowning. But the knuckleavy is so horrible that I can't possibly understand what they were so afraid of. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's
And-
just disgusting.
Earlier you said it's skinless.
Yeah, it's like a big quivering mass of flesh in the shape of a horse and rider. You know, the guy on top, he's like wobbling. He's not a real person. He's just like kind of like an anglerfish's lure that gets you close to it, and then
Well, I'll need.
poison breath. That's the end of you.
Well, I need to redesign the Halloween logo for this then.
Please don't.
I don't know if it would be learning employability appropriate or whatever.
It has to be.
It's educational.
So I could tell a little bit of a ghost story if you like.
Okay.
Yes.
Please do.
Seeing that it's Halloween,
Yes.
I may need some sound effects for it.
Okay, we can do sound effects.
So it was a cold, dark night. The wind was howling. There was a tree branch banging against the window.
Bonk, bonk, bonk.
There was footsteps in the distance. Somebody coughing. Suddenly, from out of nowhere, the lady arose in her bed to see she had a very stiff back, so
Crack.
she looked at the end of her bed and she saw what was a small child dressed in really old clothes. She was in Northern Ireland. Her boyfriend lay asleep next to her, snoring loudly. Even louder than that. So she went back to sleep thinking it was just a dream. The wind was still howling outside. The moon was full.
Moon.
I am the moon. I am the moon.
So the next morning when she awoke, it was sunny.
Son.
There was a chicken in the distance, or
Bark.
and a crow, and a horse in the field. The horse was really happy because it was Friday. So she said to her husband, no, he was a boyfriend the night before, but she was so excited she got engaged the next day. She said, I had the weirdest dream last night. I saw this boy or child, so the child at the end of the bed, dressed in really old clothes, and her boyfriend said, I saw the child too. The end.
Goosebumps. I do a really convincing horse.
Oh yeah, has anyone else got a scary story?
So, some parents were going out for dinner, but they left their little boy at home and just told him to go to sleep. And they said, like, if there's any issue, just call the neighbour. The boy was trying to sleep, but he felt very unsettled. He looked out the window and he saw a clown out in the garden. And then he called the neighbours saying, like, hey, there's a clown out in the garden. And then so the neighbours came rushing into the garden. It's like, there's nobody there. Probably just imagining things. So then the boy goes back to sleep, wakes up in the middle of the night again. He still feels a bit unsettled. And then he looks out the window again, just sees the clown just in the garden. And he called the neighbours again and they came rushing back and the neighbours didn't find anything. So when the boy went back to sleep, the neighbours decided to call the boy, why do you think you keep seeing this clown or whatever? And saying like, I can see the clown right now. And the neighbours like also looking through the window saying like, but we can't see anything. The boy says, he looks kind of ghosty-like. The neighbours started to panic. They couldn't get into the house when the parents came back. When they did get in, they came rushing upstairs and the little boy was found stabbed to death. It wasn't a ghost, it was just a reflection in the glass all along. There you go.
Oh,
Just
it is
like-
very scary.
Just like Halloween 1978.
Really? Yeah.
Kind of.
Is it?
No.
I haven't seen it, so I can't judge.
I recommend it. Best
Okay.
horror film of all time.
And maybe we should say if anyone is experiencing any delusional thoughts, that maybe they should just get in contact with someone like the Samaritans or Mind.
Or if you've been traumatized by this podcast, please contact
Angus.
Hi.
We will send out a written apology to anyone traumatized by this or any previous episodes.
The same person who's made the skinless horse for the logo for the Halloween.
Has anyone here done any seasonal activities like picking out pumpkins, carving them?
Pumpkin carving, which is fun. I love pumpkins, so that's to carve. And but I am interested about like traditional Scottish way of doing it, where it was what was it again?
It's a
It's a
turnip.
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 Significantly more difficult.
Probably more scary.
It is much scarier because a turnip looks like a human head, when you carve it out. It's the same shape, same size. But the reward that you get for doing it, because it's much, much harder than carving a pumpkin, because turnips are rock solid. But the reward you get from it is you get to eat turnip, which some have described as a fate worse than death. So I would go with a pumpkin every time.
I think a turnip can taste nice if it's put in with other things. And I think the skin needs to come off because that's the bitter part, isn't it?
I don't know. I hate every part of it. It's like, it's fine. You're right. It is fine when it's in other things, because then you can't taste the turnip anymore.
One of the other traditions that you can do in Stirling is go on one of the ghost walks, which the local, is it historian, David Kinnard, he does them. We've actually booked it for this weekend. We're going to go on his really spooky ghost walk around the graveyards, around the town. So it's a shame that we didn't get to do it before this, because I could have added a lot of that. But I listened to his podcast, just one episode, and it is really interesting. Like, if you want to know more history, more ghostly things about Stirling, like, there's also in Dunblane, they have there's the library which has information about the oldest witch trials, which, I think Scotland's quite big on the old witch trials, aren't they?
Well, not anymore. Yeah, famously, we have been historically obsessed with witches. I mean, it was all over the UK, to be fair. I remember even the king that commissioned Shakespeare to write Macbeth was so obsessed with witches, he was like, I want a witch story. And he also wrote this book called Malleus Maleficarum, which means Hammer of the Witches. He was like obsessed with witch hunts. He thought they were real, and he thought magic was real, and that kind of trickles down. Because when the guy in charge says witches are real, they walk among us, you kind of go, well, I'm illiterate. It's 1600.
Yeah.
It has to be true.
Of course, back in those days, being a witch is someone who is like a woman smarter than a man who will get burned to the stake, which is sad. Can I sleep with you? No, get lost, you freak. This person's a witch, but that's pretty much how half it is, let's be honest.
Well, that's a very apt way of how it probably was. So this is where all the trees are totally changing. They look stunning at the moment, like the vibrant reds, greens, the yellows. I love the way that all the leaves are just on the floor, and that nice noise of the leaves falling and kicking the leaves.
It's definitely
Autumn
my
is-
favourite time of
yeah,
year. And I
it's
think what I
lovely.
like about it is, since it's quite short, I think it makes you appreciate it a bit more than something like winter or something that just kind of goes on for a bit too long.
Yeah, autumn's also my favourite time of the year. As you said, the colours, it's just the right temperature for me as well. And it's an excuse to drink hot chocolate every day.
Yeah.
So, what's not to love? It's also the best time of the year to watch scary movies, which is my favourite type of movie. Once again, thank you to the Toll Booth for allowing us to use the recording studio. Thank you, Toll Booth. Love you.
Thanks, Toll Booth.
Thanks. So
Thank
both.
you.
Thank you, Ghost of Tolbooth.
The ghost of Toll Booth passed.
We thank the ghosts who help out.
You're welcome.
I can hear them now. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
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 Bye.